Mr. Forkamp, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and Kristen, you're present.
Yes, I am.
Okay. We're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bates?
Present.
Mrs. Birch?
Present.
Mrs. Hamrick?
Present.
Mr. Lyons?
Present.
Mrs. Patterson?
Present.
We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think it's only fair if you guys don't have to be here present for the meeting, you at least have to turn on your video so we have to see you. Make sure you're not in your pajamas. All right, this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. The Parkway Local Board of Education is being asked to consider a number of items together in one motion following a consent agenda format. These items are presented under the Treasurer's Report and under the Superintendent's Report sections of this agenda. Board members should review these items and request any items he or she would like to have considered separately removed from the consent recommendation and included for a separate board decision. I trust everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. If there's no changes, then I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I so move.
Melissa Birch, do I have a second? Second. Tal Bates, second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Bates?
Yes.
Mrs. Hamrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes. Moving on to Treasurer's Report.
The November 9th regular meeting minutes are there in your packet. If you didn't get a packet, then I assume it'll be there within the next few days. Approve the bus purchase program grant amount of $33,005.18 and the related appropriation. So the bus came in this week and everything looks good with it, so we need to get that bill paid.
Tell me about this. Is this a grant?
It's a bus purchase grant program. That's how much money that we were allocated.
Versus the 90?
Right. Of the 90, they're paying $33,000.
Great, thank you.
And then I also have on mine to approve Shannon and Isaac Osterfeld for volunteering to step in for the bowling coaches if need be. We've had some issues with COVID and we don't want them to get in a situation where those teams can't participate.
So those are just going to be kind of as needed? I know you sent out an email about it.
Yes, yeah, those are just as needed.
And those are volunteer?
Yep.
So did you guys have to write the grant for this, Jeannie? For the
No,
bus?
that was something the state allocated money for this year, and we just happened to be one of the schools that did receive it. So.
I never remember hearing that ever before.
It had to, yeah, we did have it at an earlier meeting to accept it.
But I mean years ago, I remember
Oh,
seeing
yes.
this.
This had a lot to do with COVID and because of the size of our district and the poverty level.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
November 30th balance was just right under $8 million. Everything that we had in bank accounts matches to what is in the computer system. In the three funds that the board has the most control over, the general fund, the permanent improvement fund, and classroom facilities fund, there's $6.7 million, which is up from 5.6 a year ago. I've included a check register, a receipt ledger, and a financial summary. At last month's meeting, I presented the 5-year forecast. I've included that in your packets. I know you had time to look at it since the last meeting and didn't know if anybody had any questions. I really don't have anything to add to it. I also included our general fund capital assets spreadsheet going out through fiscal year 26. That first column, fiscal year 21 at the bottom, is $327,411. That matches with line 3.05 on the forecast capital outlay. So you can have an idea of what's already, there's an asterisk there, we've already paid for it, we already have it, otherwise there's a PO outstanding for it. There are a few items like pianos and instruments, $8,000 is in the budget, but I doubt we'll get that purchased this year. So there's some things out there that Mike has not turned in a PO for the mower yet. But most of the big items, we already do have the PO for. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Melissa, Kristen, do you have any questions?
I do not. No, I don't either.
Or Kyle? Moving on. That's the end of the treasurer's consent items. I need a motion to approve the items as presented from the treasurer's consent. Approve the following meeting minutes, November 9, 2020 for the regular meeting. Approve the bus purchase program grant amount of $32,005.18 related appropriation. Approve the treasurer report and payment of bills as presented. Approve the 5-year forecast as presented. Approve Shannon Osterfeld as the boys and girls bowling volunteer coach for the 2020-21 school year. Approve Isaac Osterfeld as the boys and girls bowling volunteer coach for the 2020-21 school year. If there's no questions, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
So moved.
Kyle Bates, second.
Second.
Tara Patterson, roll call please.
Mr. Bates?
Yes.
Mrs. Patterson?
Yes.
Mrs. Hamrick?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes. Administrative reports, Mr. Forkamp?
I've got one correction on number 2, with the delay, so we had start of December, we had to start doing the test retakes for the course of the until the 7th. They are still continuing, waiting for kids to come off of COVID, and absences. We're hoping we get everybody retested by Friday. I think our last kid was off quarantine on the 17th, and we didn't school on the 18th to finish the test
I do not have your board report in front of me. Is there anything that is tall telling that we're missing?
The only other item on there was that, the first item was that our first semester ends this Friday the 18th, and the grade card will go on January 8th. As long as everything goes to plan, we are seeing the number of kids quarantined. We've got quite a few kids are going to end up in weeks, coming in, they get back from Christmas break, just because they have to make test quizzes up, make assignments up, so their grade card, some of them will have things in the grade card, but then as soon as they get that, those assignments, test quizzes, semester clean, and all that stuff, they have, then we, recalculate the grade point average, class standings, and then reissue grade cards, so that we can see that, they get that made up. That's it, only had a few items on there.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Fortune? Melissa, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Kristen?
Well,
Okay. Mr. Woods?
Hi there, everybody. Hey, doing a new one. Keep it doing for my report, just a few updates. First on COVID, I changed my stuff. We're doing great. We had one positive case last week. We got a few kids quarantined now, but other than that, things are going pretty well with that. Really pleased with the way we've been able to keep our numbers of 14 kids rather low with keeping the whole rings together all day, using common seating charts across all classes. This last positive test only knocked out 7 students, so pleased with the way that's going. Next, our student council is sponsoring our food drive. Our charity word of the month for December is generosity. So I thought that'd be a great thing to do, food drive, food pantry. And we started last week and we've already brought in break 11 different items. So it's a huge amount of food run for food pantry. So it's cool. Our goal, we're shooting for over 2,000 by the end of the year. So we can do. I'd like to publicly commend Mrs. Wagner and the middle school musical casting crew. They did a fantastic job with Blizzard Laws and Parkway casting for those events, I thought, especially with all the COVID stuff going on and practices being missed. And they were delayed. They spread it out over 2 weekends. It was supposed to be 5 nights. Got some COVID cases right in there and had to delay for a couple weeks, but they got all 5 performances in and really good stuff. Mrs. Wagner is currently working on a virtual Christmas concert with required kids now, so I'm going to do some work this week and we still plan for parents to see it. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right. Mr. Esselstein?
In addition to what I had in the board report about Christmas giving and so on, kindergarten was sending letters, cards to our volunteer firefighters. First grade was bringing in stuff to make baskets for nursing home residents, nursing home staff, and local hospital staff. So they're all recognizing the need to serve others, so that's always good. We did get our 3rd grade fall testing results in the day. We were at 45% proficient, which is like 8% above what the state average was. Usually we're probably around 60, but based on the end of last year, not surprised in the least that that's where we're at. And 17% accelerated, 10% advanced, so that was good. We do have, there were 24 students that didn't reach the promotion score. 3 of them are exempt. So the 21 that we've got, usually we change our RTI set up around a little bit to get those kids some tutoring to prepare for the Terra Nova. However, with 21, I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. We'll probably have to do something significantly different. But beyond that, with those 21 that would be subject to a third grade reading guarantee, the state did say for this year that if the principal and the reading teacher believe that the student is prepared to do okay in fourth grade, that we can promote them, that we don't have to retain. So it's a little softer guarantee than it normally is, which, you know, for me, I would be real hard pressed to hold a kid back based on, you know, even though you get potentially 4 chances to take this test and get the promotion score, based on what they lost at the end of last year, you know, I don't think that would be fair to any of those kids. Because, you know, that's really the time of year kids are taking off, and then you know, so you have 1.5, 2 months off, and then you've got a little bit of summer slide that occurs anyway. So I think our teachers have done a great job of meeting the kids where they came to them this year, meeting them where they're at and trying to bring them along as quick as you can, but it's hard to make up for 2 months. And what any school did last spring is not going to be comparable to what it would have been educationally if they're in person. So, we'll be working on that, but like I said, I'm not surprised, just wasn't real sure where our numbers were going to come out on that.
Be interesting to see what the state statistics are on that, as far as how everybody did.
Yeah,
there's no way it could be anywhere near what it was last year.
Yeah, I don't know where they'll end up, but like the state proficient average as of today was 37%. So only 1 out of 3 were being proficient. And the overall score obviously was below proficient for the state too. So, you know, that's not something you generally see. So, you know, there's a lot of work for everybody to do to try to get those kids up to speed. But, you know, you can't skip steps here and fast forward them. You're gonna take them one step at a time and get them as far as you can.
Thank you. Well, any questions from the board this time? If not, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
All right, the first item I have there is that we need to decide on the January meeting. We have the organizational meeting and the regular January board meeting to set. Since we're going to have Tom approved tonight as the Vantage board member, that was always one of the items that had us need to do it early. So we can, if we choose to, keep the meeting the same on the second Monday of the month and do the organizational meeting right before it. Do one at 6:15 and then have a regular board meeting at 6:30, or if you would like to do it on a different night. So we'll need to put that on the agenda. So I'll let you guys have any discussion you would like to have on that, on what night you would like to do it.
I would go with the same night beforehand.
Yeah, me too.
Does 6:15 and then 6:30 work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe
So
January, what's the,
12?
Oh, that's Tuesday, sorry, 11.
Okay. January 11th, 6:15, and then 6:30. Okay. Committee assignments, we'll also need to decide and vote on those in January. I know that we had Sally include those in your board packets. If you don't have those yet, maybe you haven't seen those yet. If you guys want to have any discussion, or if you want to let me know if there's any changes, if we're going to keep them the same, we'll just need to make that decision before January. So any thoughts at this point in time? Do you just want to email me personally if you want to change any of those, or how would you like to go about setting your committee reports or committee assignments?
Does anybody have any strong feelings if they want to be on a different committee?
I really want to look at them. I don't, because I didn't get my packet.
Kristen, do you have any strong feelings?
And I'm looking at it right now. I think I'm good with where I'm at, unless anybody wants to change or anything, but.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just leave it as is unless someone contacts you, is that okay?
Right, if you want, do you want to pass the committee assignments down to Tara, that way, and then when she gets a copy, she'll have it too, she doesn't have to make a decision tonight. All right, and then my last item for tonight is Mr. Esselstein's last board meeting as the elementary principal. He only has 4 days left, so of course I want to thank him for all of his years of service to Parkway, 34, correct? And we will truly miss him, and I wanted the board to be able to have a chance to congratulate him on his retirement as well.
We'll do a handshake.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sir,
It's been an honor.
it's a little gift from us. Thank you. Thank you. All 6 of us get the clap.
Hard to believe.
It is great. Time goes.
It does.
It's been awesome working.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with everybody, and like I said in the board report, I still remember walking into the old cafeteria, you know, the new kid on the block and knowing about 2 people, and now it's, you know, I'm the old guy on the block and time to head out, but it's the right time.
Just don't go looking for a truck driver job and work.
I'm not looking for any employment anytime soon. Gonna have to get really bored.
You'll love it.
Oh, well, you're still smiling even with your mask on, so I know you're enjoying it.
Yep.
I think they need help down on the golf course up on Hilton. They could always use some help.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, if you miss kids, I have a 2-year-old.
Okay, I'm not doing 2 years. So I'll wait till Emerson makes me a grandparent. And I'm in no rush for that one either.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And enjoy retirement.
I would, absolutely.
And if we have no other questions or comments, we'll move on to the superintendent's consent items. And that's approve the board schedule for the following meetings, and that will be organizational meeting is 6:15 on January 11th. And then the regular meeting to follow is 6:30 on January 11th. Accept the resignation of Steve Fisher as the varsity boys track head coach. Accept the resignation of Mr. Dan Carnes as the varsity girls track head coach. Approve the attached list of substitute teachers approved. Teachers approved. Is that supposed to be approved?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Approved by the Mercer County ESC service. Accept the resignation of Mrs. Brenda Matthews as teacher effective the end of 2020-21 school year. Accept the resignation of Jennifer Barrett as the varsity school track assistant coach for the 2020-21 school year. Accept the resignation of Nathan Rupp as the junior high boys track head coach. Accept the resignation of Barry Peel III as junior high baseball coach. Approve hiring 2 students for technology help December 21st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020 at a rate of pay of $8.75 per hour. Total combined hours will not exceed 70. All supplemental contracts are issued with the notation that they are per the adopted salary schedule and are automatically non-renewed at the end of the respective school year. Initial employment is contingent upon satisfactory BCI and FBI report, possessing or obtaining in a timely manner any necessary certification required by the position and an adequate number of participants. Pay will be prorated according for a shortened extracurricular activity seasons. The following supplemental positions are for the 2020-21 school year. Approved Jennifer Barrett as the varsity girls track head coach. Approved Nathan Rupp as the varsity boys track head coach. Approved Matthew Bruce as the junior high boys track head coach. Approve Clista Hellworth as the varsity boys and girls track assistant volunteer coach. Approve Barry Peel III as junior high baseball assistant volunteer coach. This is the end of the superintendent's consent items. Do I have a motion to approve items as presented?
So moved.
Tara Patterson and seconded by Melissa Birch.
Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mr. Bates,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamrick,
Yes.
Mr. Lyons,
Yes. In a separate motion, I need a motion to approve the resignation of Mr. Curtis Hamrick as teacher, public relations coordinator, yearbook advisor, and FBL advisor effective January 11th, 2021. I need a motion for this.
So moved.
Tal Bates, second.
Second.
Tara Patterson, roll call please.
Mr. Bates,
Yes.
Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
No.
Mrs. Hamrick, Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1 with 1 abstention.
I need a motion to approve and appoint Melissa Birch as the president pro tem for the January organizational meeting. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Lyons,
Yes.
Mr. Bates,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
Abstain.
Mrs. Hamrick, Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
Motion passes. I need a motion to approve Tom Lyons as the Vantage Career Center Board Representative as per the past resolution. Mr. Lyons will serve through the calendar year 2023.
So moved.
Melissa Birch,
Second.
Tara Patterson, roll call please.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bates,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamrick,
Yes.
Mr. Lyons,
Abstain. Thank you. I need a motion that the board pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, section 121.32, adjourn to executive session for the express purpose of discussing personnel, and that would be compensation. And then number 5, confidential matters as required by federal and state laws and statutes. And I intend that there will be no action taken after the executive session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Bates,
Yes.
Mrs. Patterson,
Yes.
Mrs. Birch,
Yes.
Mrs. Hamrick,
No.
Mr. Lyons,
Yes. Time entered 6:59. Thank you.